Hi everyone, in today's video I would like to share a few important elements that can help you in preparing your presentation content that you may deliver to your manager, to your team or to your client specifically, because the foundation for any presentation is how well your content is prepared and how much time you have invested in preparing the content, because it can be very well reflected while you deliver the presentation and it can definitely influence your audience in that presentation room. So let's try and understand what these important aspects are. The very first element of preparing any presentation content is to understand that what as a presenter you want to achieve at the end of the presentation, like what is the output you want to decipher out of it. See, you have to understand that there is a specific tone behind every presentation. The first tone could be that whether it is just an informative based presentation, we are just required to share the data and the report and the policies, then the output is you're just sharing it and you want to transfer the knowledge to your audience. Then in that case, whatever data, whatever report, whatever facts and figures you have in your presentation, that has to be very well validated and to be taken from very reliable resources. Hence, if there is any counter question in the presentation, you can be very well prepared by telling that from which resource you have taken and how it is validated. Otherwise, it may backfire during the presentation. The second tone of that presentation, or rather you would want to understand it, your purpose is could be that, for example, you're pitching an idea to your client and the achievement you would want to seek towards the end of the presentation is that you should convince your client with that idea. So that is your purpose. That means the tone of the presentation is that you are trying to have a conviction, and for that the ideas you are adding into the presentation that needs to have the benefits attached to it, that what are the gaining points for your client, hence he or she should get convinced what you are approaching them with. So that's very important to understand the tone. Third could be that you have to deliver a presentation where you are going to talk about some detailing part of the project you are working, or there are certain challenges you want to talk about and you want your client to make certain decision based on that. So that means at the end of the presentation, what you are seeking, the output you are seeking is decision making to be done or some approval to be made by your client. And for that, whatever information you are sharing, of course, it has to be validated. Second, if you are talking about some challenges, you need to give a logical reason in your presentation that these are the challenges, why we are encountering it. So logical reason has to be there. The third kind of a presentation could be, let's say you need to have some approval from your manager or from your client and you're preparing the data based on that. In that presentation, it is very much required from your end that you need to go prepared with certain kind of questions beforehand. Some questions should be there in your mind so that you can ask them during the presentation, and that can help you in understand their requirements, that can help you in understand their expectations from you in that project or in that data. That will definitely help you in coming out with the right kind of the understanding what they exactly want from you in that project. Hence, you need to see that what purpose you actually are deriving out of that presentation. Is it some conviction or convincing is required, or is it some just information based presentation, or is it just some where you seek some approval from the audience? So that's how you need to prepare your content, and that's how you have to create the variations in that presentation. The another aspect which can make your content really concrete and impressive is that where you are adding plan of action, that what all plans you have in your upcoming days and how you are executing, what are your execution plans. So be it either it is your manager or your client, they are very much interested to know that. They need to have that assurance that the project is in the safe hand. And while sharing your upcoming plans, that this is my idea, this is where we are working, this is where you are working along with your team, they would like to know that within whatever timelines they have decided with you, whether we are right on tracks. The plan of action is very much important, where they would like to understand that where are we heading and where are we progressing in that project. So yes, that presentation would make a great impact and a huge impact on the people you are delivering this presentation to. The another important aspect that can really impress your audience in the presentation is that how you are prioritizing your entire presentation and how well on time you have completed it. So for that, you have to prepare in advance. You have to have that estimation of the timeline, that what slide has got higher priority in terms of delivering the presentation. That you need to be very well aware that if first 2-3 slides are high on priority, then you need to spend more time on that. But if, let's say, fourth and fifth and sixth slide can be just be taken into consideration for just about a few seconds or a minute, then do that. So you need to figure it out, that what content is of a high priority. It's not necessary that every slide is required to be given equal amount of time, because otherwise then the entire presentation would go haywire. And if you have been given a time slot of 20-25 minutes, then you may surpass. So we need to be very sure which slide has got what priority, and accordingly we can have our time projections, preparation to be done beforehand, so that even the 20 minutes timeline has been given to us for our presentation, then we can right there, we can complete it in 20 to maximum to 21-22 minutes. So always be aware about that beforehand. And then towards the end of the presentation, it is recommended to paraphrase it. When I say paraphrase, that means you need to summarize the entire presentation in a pointers, that whatever was, if any decision was made during the presentation, or if any approval was even given to you, or any information important, so whatever was discussed, just end your presentation in a concluding statement in a bullet points, and that can make your audience and you on the same page of understanding of the entire content. So yeah, that do not end your presentation in an abrupt way. Always end it in a summarized and with a concluding statement. That is what we call paraphrasing. So yeah, these were certain important elements which I thought of sharing with you all when it comes to preparing the presentation content. Hence, it can help you in delivering it in front of your client or your manager or your team members. If you have any other important elements apart from what is discussed in this video, please do let us know in the comment section. And yes, please subscribe to this channel. Bye-bye. Take care. All the best.